thought like Maria Montessori, we would be thinking like a scientist, a philosopher, an activist, a revolutionary. You may be wondering, who is Maria Montessori? She is best known for the method of education she created to reflect child development. When she was growing up in Italy in the late 1800s, she was going to be anything but a teacher. There weren't many other jobs for women. She was able to convince an all-male tech school to let her attend for engineering. And when she discovered that she had a love of biology, she convinced the University of Rome to let her into their all-male medical school. She graduated as one of Italy's first female doctors and went on to focus her work on children. As her work progressed, she was invited to start a school in a tenement in Rome. Here, she was able to focus more of her attention on how children learn and develop. So, she had this focus on children, but she was still able to spend time working on women's rights as an author. She was a traveler. She was a leader for peace, a trainer of teachers, and the creator of a method of education still taught in 16,000 schools around the world. What if we all thought like Maria Montessori? What if we looked at people when they said we couldn't do something and told them we'd find a different way? What if we thought like Maria Montessori outside of the classroom, outside of a Montessori school? Dr. Maria Montessori understood that respect for the child was the most important thing that we could give them. Respect for the individual they are now and the individual they will become. What if we respected everybody that way? If we looked at their potential and tried to support that, it would change the way we interacted with everyone. We would find a way to support them in all of their interests. If we respected the potential of the individual at work, at play, at home, in our politics, we would support the community made up of these individuals so that every potential could shine. This could look like protecting someone, or finding someone's interests and letting them follow them. If it was a business, we could let our business create and innovate in a way that supported the community and themselves. We could trust our children when they said that they were going to take a path completely different than us. We could trust ourselves to make our own choices. What if we nurtured the uniqueness of all individuals? We could embrace diversity and honor those who are different as well as those who are similar to us. Dr. Montessori determined that learning is best when there is freedom within limits. Finding a balance between structure and independence, between choice and command, is work for the community and the individual. Thinking like this, we could trust our employees to try new things within the structure of success for our business. Parents could encourage their children to make a decision and make mistakes within a community that does not fear failure and still has safety guidelines. we could more easily find our own space between doing nothing and overwhelm, a space where we can grow comfortably. What if we all found our balance? We could create a space for human flourishing. Dr. Montessori took the time to step back and observe children. Through dedicated observation, she came to understand children's development. She called this her discovery of the child. In her 1946 London lectures, Dr. Montessori told her audience, in order to educate the child from birth, we must have understanding based on psychological observation. What if we pause to observe every student, every person, with a desire to understand? Taking time to observe what is happening, noticing engagement and interest, is what helps us avoid interrupting learning in the classroom. What if we did this in the real world? If we all took the time to observe for interest, to observe for engagement and joy, then we could help support everyone. If we paused, we could avoid saying something that later caused us embarrassment. We could avoid acting in a way that we later regretted. And worst of all, we would avoid not having somebody find an interest or interrupting their learning. Observing can help us understand that a person moving slowly in front of us isn't trying to slow us down. They're hurt. It may help us notice that our coworker needs a little extra support because their child is sick. We may see the joy that somebody else sees in finding a flower or noticing a squirrel. It may make us pause to understand why someone feels or thinks differently than we do. What if we all took the time to observe, to pause, to notice? We could act rather than react. We could support and engage rather than cut short. Dr. Montessori realized learning through experience helps us own the knowledge and understand the process of the skill we are learning. We call it hands-on learning. We call it travel. Call it a hard lesson when we don't like the experience. Often we call it fun. Even as adults, we can create experiences that help us learn, grow, and expand our knowledge. By trusting and developing comfort with failure, we could be open to experiences that hold the risk of not turning out just as we wanted them to. If we could allow opportunities for exploration and discovery, safe in a community of fellow learners, we could all reach greater heights. What if we all trusted enough to learn through experience? We could embrace discovery, not just the outcome. Dr. Montessori saw that learning in community helped everyone. No one person holds all the knowledge, so why not listen, share, and respect the different intelligence each person has? When we collaborate, we honor the idea that supported the idea, that gave way to the idea for things like this that we all enjoy. No one person needs to be the only one to create, build, or understand. Learning from those who have come before us is a strength of humans. It's part of what has helped us be able to accomplish everything we have. Each person who has been on this stage tonight has had something to share, just as each of you have a skill or knowledge to share. When we collaborate, we can build our knowledge faster and more deeply. What if we shared and learned collaboratively? We could create belonging and connection, leading us to a shared success. Dr. Montessori showed us education is the path to peace. She lived through world wars, a civil war, and as an Italian citizen teaching in India when India entered World War II, she was declared an enemy alien. With all this experience, she told us, averting war is the work of politicians. Establishing peace is the work of education. Peace is not always calmness. More often, peace is action. If we lived in the active peace of a Montessori classroom, we would focus on understanding and appreciating our own culture, as well as other cultures around the world. We would give ourselves grace and learn to be better when we do better. We would use courtesy, manners, and kindness with others. We would apply conflict resolution to understand and move through our disagreements. We would be open to helping others and being helped by others. What if we educated and acted with peace? We would change the future of the world. Dr. Montessori understood that connection to the world is essential to living in harmony within it. Montessori schools begin each year in elementary with the study of the birth of the universe. This knowledge is shared first because all existence is a part of the universe. To know one is to know the other. As a part of this planet, all living things have a cosmic task. A task to make the planet better, and in that way, the universe. The task of the coral, very teeny tiny animal that makes the reefs that we're familiar with. Its cosmic task is to clear the ocean of extra calcium. This makes it safe for all other marine life. The task of the bee is to pollinate plants so that they survive, grow, and reproduce. The task of the human. Dr. Montessori didn't say it quite this way, but we can see that the task of the human is to love. Love the people in community with us and communities far from us. Love the plants and animals we share space with. Love the things humans have built and the things nature has created. Love the ideas that have come before us and the ideas yet to be shared. What if we lived into our cosmic task of love? What if we all started thinking like Maria Montessori?